when you put yourself in the public, right? Should I start this over? I mean, should I start this over? Because I keep telling you, this is a work in progress, right? And I'm gonna start this over. You know what? I can do this, right? Because I got to work this out by the end of the season. I should be working this out, at least mid-season, right? Okay, I'll be Keith, and this will be B-roll. You remember last time I said, you know what? We're going to talk about, on the butt end of it, we're going to talk about the NBA and boxing, right? But didn't get a chance because the show was so exciting. The show was so exciting. Believe me, trust me, when I say the show was exciting, it was exciting. But it was a little bit of stuff that was, I said some stuff that may have gotten me disowned in the eyes of a lot of family members. So you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I'm going to shy away from saying that stuff because that's what it is. That's what it is. I don't hate my family members, but, they got their opinions, I got my opinions. Okay, but here we go. The WNBA. Is what we're talking about, not the NBA. Not the NBA. The NBA is like overrated right now. It is. It's overrated. The WNBA I'm going to tell y'all about something that happened last week. Not on my show, but on somebody else's show. And I got my producer is trying to get even with me. But we'll talk about that later. All right, here we go. The WNBA. I said we're going to talk about the NBA. We're going to talk about the WNBA because right now I feel that the NBA is like totally overrated. Right? They're totally overrated. And ESPN, oh yeah, I want to talk about ESPN some other time. I'm not letting you off the hook on that. So yeah, so the WNBA and boxing. Let's talk about them. Okay, what's up with the WNBA? Well, first things first. They've been around since 1997, officially. The first dunk happened in the WNBA in like 2002, the official dunk, right? Slam, the slam, fly, slam, jam, wham, bam, right? In 2002. Since then, there's only been officially recorded 29 dunks, actually 30 as of a few days ago when Brittany Griner, who has like 22 of the 30 dunks are attributed to her, right? Okay, that's first thing first, okay? I'm going to get back to that. Hold me to that. Here's the deal. First things first. You need to keep your personal relationships out of the media, okay? Keep your personal relationships personal. I don't care about your wife. It's okay, you got wives. A lot of y'all got husbands. A lot of y'all got girlfriends. I don't care about that. I really don't. What I care about and what most people care about is what you do on the court. But if you do stuff outside the court, then you know what happens? It distracts from what you're doing on the court. Okay? Just keep yourself out. Just keep your stuff out of the thing, right? You act like, oh, you're being like, discriminatory towards gay and lesbian and all this stuff. No. No. You got multiple sports out here, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. You got football, you got baseball, you got men's basketball, right? And you telling me you don't think there's any homosexuals running around in there? Huh? You don't think that? Okay, guess what? People may not think that because it's not blown out of proportion. It didn't work for Rosie O'Donnell. It didn't work for Ellen DeGeneres. Yeah, it got their name out there, but then they had to pull it back, right? They had to tone it down. So that's first things first. Next thing, you want to be like this sports, right? You want to be in sports. You're in sports. You're athletes. You're athletes. You're athletes. You train, right? You're also being measured against establishment something that had already been established for over 100 years. Think about that. Basketball has been around for over 100 years. That's crazy, right? Huh? Think about that. Things have developed. Ball handling, defense, offense, all that stuff has developed over the years. There's always been great players in the NBA. There's always been, either defensive or offense, there's always been great players in the NBA. There's been times where it lulled, but there has basically been great players all the time. Remember this, because I'm going to tell you again, this is what you're being measured against. You're the WNBA, the Women's National Basketball Association. You're being measured against the National Basketball Association, which is the MNBA, the Men's National Basketball Association, right? But we don't use the N, use the M, right? Okay? And just for a tablet, it used to be that NBA used to stand for the National Boxing Association. Until they had a world, so somebody went over to defend the championship over in Europe. Then it became the World Boxing Association, the WBA. Okay? Look that up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm accurate with that. But anyway, like I said, you're being measured against the NBA. It is a crying shame that only 29 dunks have been measured, have been recorded officially in regular season and in all-star games since 2000. That's 20 years, actually 21 years again, because I believe Brittany Griner just dunked again just the other day, a few days ago. How do we know it hit the news? Boom. Brittany Griner dunked. Boom. And then when you look at it, she's got like 22 of the now 30 dunks that are officially in the NBA. You don't think that's kind of weird? You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to get more athletic. You got to get more athletic. If you start dunking more, right? Start shaking, bacon, bang it down low, boom, 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 like they have been all their lives, that since the inception of this game, then the NBA, WNBA is going to be more exciting. I ain't saying you got to start punching each other in the face. No, I'm saying, but you got to get more physical, because that's what basketball is. I've been taught and trained and schooled with this thought in my head since I first learned how to play basketball or start playing basketball in 1970. I'm dating myself. Yeah, I'm dating myself. In 1970, mid-70s, when I started really playing basketball. Somebody once told me, you know what? An older brother told me, you know what? Basketball is a sport that there's 100% contact all game long. 100% contact from the time they get on the floor to the time they leave. It's 100% contact. There's always some contact on the basketball court. Whether this person, that person, these people bumping up against each other, there's always contact. And it's a physical game. Always. You got football. You got some people you got one team over here, one team over there. There's no contact in there. There is no contact. One team over here, one team over there. No contact. Baseball, no contact. Basketball is the only sport that there's 100% contact. There's always some contact, and that's what you got to think about. If you want to put it in further perspective, there was a time when dunks were not allowed. There was a time when centers were not allowed to jump off the ground to grab a rebound. Dunks were banned by the NBA. Whose fault was that? please get out of here? Producer, man. It's supposed to be the producer, man. We'll talk about that later. Even hockey is known 100%. Hockey not even a sport. Is hockey a sport? anyway, let's talk about what I was saying, right? 100% contact all the time, right? Ladies, the only reason why people really, the WNBA is really taking this hit is because you're not being those athletes. You will go out there and you will play out there on the playground or in the park and you will cut it up. Bam, 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 right? Making guys look dumb. But you get on the NBA court, where the dunks at? Where the dunks at? You 6'5", you 6'6", you should be dunking the ball. All right? I just want to say that. I know I'm getting flack for it, but it is what it is. Neil Patrick Harris, he's got a husband. Nobody holding that against him. You know, that's the bad guy in the last John Wick movie. Used to be Doogie Howser. Pete Buttigieg, former mayor of one of those towns out there in the Midwest, I don't know, but now he's in the Biden administration. He's got a husband. Nobody got a problem with that, right? The person who the media person for the president, right? She's got a wife or a girlfriend, right? Nobody got a problem with that. But they keep all their stuff low key, right? That was the first thing first. Next, do more dunks, dunk more. Bang bodies. That's what basketball is about, especially down low. All right? You gotta bang bodies. You gotta get more physical because you're being compared to a physical sport, sport by men, developed by men. Boxing, why do you think Clarissa Shields is starting to pick up? Because she's fighting. She's fighting like a man. Well, she's a female. She's in a man's sport, right? If it's a high heel contest and the guy coming with like pumps, you ain't gonna look at that, right? Okay, then. That's kind of awkward. But yeah, you get the drift, right? Anywho's, let's move on. That's enough. I don't beat that horse to, I can't beat that horse no more. So now, let's be clear what I want to say. Everybody make sure your alarms are off. We had a mishap last week. Near the end of the show, somebody's alarm went off. That was it was embarrassing. Anyway, back to what I was saying, right? Boxing. Boom, 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 boxing. I'm not a boxing aficionado, but I like boxing. I talk about boxing, right? I'm not like a lot of these individuals out here, these podcasters, they go on web channels and who are really good. You got some who pretend to be good, and I thought they were good until they started making no sense to me. You know what I'm saying? They started making no sense to me. Shout out to Dante Boxing Nation. That's an OG. Boxing Ego, another OG. And if you listen to him, he's the best in the business. And so far, he's been standing up. He's living up to the hype that he's been hyping himself up, right? Money Brown, we pretty much came back. Champ side, but then the rest of them, I'm not. Manager Marty, the rest of them, I'm just like serious, and here's why. I want you to understand. Boxing, it's the big thing. It should be no secret to the world by now. All right, you got two of the best boxers. Period. All right, two of the greatest. Maybe it's going to go down in the Hall of Fame as greatest boxers. Right, in Earl the Truth Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford, right? And I want to be clear about this. People's opinions on who they believe is the best pound for pound, it is their belief. It is your belief, just like my belief is my belief, right? Okay? Terrence Crawford, when I first saw him boxing, I think I saw him boxing about 7, 8 years ago? That's when I first saw him, fighting. Maybe longer than that. But when I first saw him, he was just tearing stuff up. He was a breath of fresh air. He was a breath of fresh air when Floyd was sucking when Floyd just dominated, was sucking all the air out. And then he just dropped off. Andre Ward, great boxer, who I totally underestimated for a while, right? Okay, but he was like doing his thing. But Terrence Crawford was like the next guy. He was the next guy. He was the next Floyd Mayweather, right? He was the next guy, right? And he was at the very lightweight classes. I think he started off at light featherweight. Featherweight is 135. Light featherweight is lightweight. And he was at lightweight, right? Super featherweight, lightweight, which is about the 130 division, right? And he was coming up. It became undisputed, I think, at the 140. 140? Oh, I believe. I'll get that information later. Anyway, he was that guy. He was just that guy. I mean, he had some weaknesses in his defense and stuff like that, and I thought he was that one. I thought he was that good, right? When not got no argument. No argument. If you say he was your pound for pound, I wouldn't have got no argument. I thought it was would have been kind of premature, but you got no argument from me. Anyway, so then this kid just came out of nowhere. Start watching him, came up, started doing this thing, and he came out, and he's just like, I was like, whoa, this kid's for real. It's for real. He was in the high weight class, welterweight division, right? Earl Spence Jr., right? So I was like, yeah, this kid's the real thing, right? So now, and there was a few other boxers, but we're talking about this division, because these two guys are about to fight later on this month, right? On the 29th, I believe, 29th, and Showtime, I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to advertise for them guys because I didn't get paid for it. So just note that these two guys are about to fight, right? And I believe that Errol Spence is a pound for pound the best, right? Pound for pound best, right? In boxing. Terrence Crawford is a heck of a fighter. I've never said he wasn't a heck of. One time I thought he may one day become pound for pound best, right? If not for Earl Spence, I still may have thought that. But anyway, they're supposed to be fighting. And once again, who you choose to say is pound for pound, I gave a shout out to some names, right? And the other ones that I used to listen to, look and so on and so forth. Well, I had to because it wasn't being real. They was talking silly, and here's what they were saying. Here's literally what they were saying. They were saying a consensus that Earl Spence is the pound for pound, is the king of the welterweight division, right? The king. There's nothing higher than the king, all right, in that division. Okay, Terrence Crawford came into that division. Earl Spence went and got 3 belts. When and I did not consider him to be pound for pound until he fought Kell Brooks, and he went out there to take the IBF championship in the UK. And Kell Brooks was at that time the best, pound for pound, was the best in the welterweight division. That's what I felt. Even though he had gotten an injury, right? He was the best, he was still the best in the welterweight division, okay? So he went and beat him. You had 3 other people come up. You had 3 other people coming up. Well, one came down. You had Sean Porter, who Kell Brook had beaten, and he was still good and getting better. You had Danny Garcia, who came up from the 140 division, and you had Keith Thurman, who came up from the 140 division, right? They both came up. So in the process of coming up, they clashed, and those guys was fighting it out, okay? And it seemed to me like they were avoiding Earl Spence. Matter of fact, they were pretty much avoiding Earl Spence. Okay, he was considered the boogeyman. But that's something for a different story. That's for a different time, right? Here's what happened. Here's what happened. they the individuals, those other podcasters, webcasters that I was talking about, they were saying, like I said, there was a general consensus, even with them, and the ones who I named, that Errol Spence is the king of the welterweight division. But then the other ones will start talking about, yeah, I get, you want to hype up the fight, you want to get this fight, you want to motivate the fight to come together. But they were starting to say that, Terrence Crawford is the pound for pound best. Hold up. I'm sorry. And again, it's not that Terrence Crawford is not a heck of a fighter, a hell of a fighter, right? That's not it. But it was a general consensus that Errol Spence was the king of the division. And my position is this: how are you going to claim that somebody else is the pound for pound best and say that this person is the king of the division, the best in this division? They're in the same division. How does that even work? That is not just a contradiction, that is an oxymoron. That's a conflict of reality. I mean, bash, a conflict. And so I'm saying that's about as stupid as you can say, a stupidest statement that you can make when it comes to boxing. You cannot say that two people in the same division is the king of that division. It does not work that way. And that's why all those other individuals, they lost credibility with me. It's not because they believe or say that this person they believe is a pound for pound best. No, I'm not knocking them on what they believe to be, their opinion. Just like this is my opinion. I'm saying you can't say that the two people in the same division are the kings of that division, because if you're saying that person is pound for pound best in the world, then you can't be acknowledging this person as the king of the division, because that person by king is above that person. Duh. Explain this to me. Explain this to me. So, I hit him with a question. I made a statement. You probably heard about Devin Haney, right? Lightweight champion, all 4 belts, undisputed champion, right? Said, one of them, I told him, I did a comment. And the comment was that y'all guys don't give Devin Haney, you say this, but you don't really give him his respect or acknowledgement as being the undisputed champion in the lightweight division, the 135-pound division, to give an idea of the person, one of the people I left off the list, right, of webcasters and podcasters, whatever you want to say, why I left him off the list. Here, you know what he does? He shocks the heck out of me. I mean, blows my mind by responding. I'm like, oh, this guy got like 30,000 people. And he responded to my comment with the stupidest comment, the stupidest response I could think of. We're talking about Devin Haney. We're talking about one of the, 3 undisputed champions, right, in their division. The other one being Jermell Charlo, right? So I think it was only, at the time there was another one, but he just lost, I forgot his name. He just lost his last belt a couple weeks ago. So there was only 3 undisputed champions. And you know what this guy told me? Oh, no, he's not the youngest, because that's what it was. Devin Haney, I said, Devin Haney, you don't give him the respect for being the youngest undisputed champion. You know what this clown told me? You know what his response was? Oh, no, he wasn't. Now, I want you to listen to this response. It was Muhammad Ali. I said, what? How you throw Muhammad Ali in this? He's the first undisputed champion. He's the youngest. Not in the 4-belt era. That's what we're talking about. See, this is the type of stuff that those other individuals who I shall forever maybe remain nameless, this is what they do. You want to support Terrence Crawford, I get it. But don't turn around and say he's the pound for pound best. You can't not say he's a pound for pound best and say this other guy is the king of the division. You're saying that he's the best in that division. And if they're in the same division, and I was kept trying to explain to people all the time, if you're saying that this person's the king of that division, and even though this person only got one belt, but you believe him to be the pound for pound best, then you're saying that that person can't be the king of the division because you're saying that this person is better than him. Right? If you're saying that the king of the division, you're saying that they're best in the division. So that's a conflict. It's like an oxymoron. And yeah, and that's why it left me like this. I'm serious. I felt so ridiculous. It was like I could not expound anymore on how stupid that comment was coming from these individuals. And then they start talking this and backbiting this and this and this and that and this and that. Again, if you're gonna say that your man Terrence Bud Crawford is the pound for pound best, you want to acknowledge it, fine. I think this is going to be a 50-50 fight. I favored before. I didn't think it was going to be a 50-50 fight. I just flat out favored Earl Spence. But now I believe it's a 50-50 fight or 50-50 fight. But I favor Earl Spence. Right? Does that make sense? Okay. Let's keep it moving. What next? I want to bring up the issue with the this heat wave. What about this heat wave? What about this worldwide historic heat wave? You see what's going on here? It's going on all over the world. That's what's so historic about it. Normally, you have temperatures over here. If it's like, whatever, if it's 90, 80, 90 degrees over here, it's over here. 100 degrees, okay, it's 100 degrees when it's supposed to be 100 degrees. But it's not like that now. It's like, okay, over here, it's generally, it go up to 100 degrees, 110, 20 degrees. Wow, that's like frying eggs and bacon. 120 degrees, right? Okay, so tone it down. 100 degrees, and it's averaging 105, right? Okay, here's why this is historic. Over there, when it should be like 70 or 80 degrees, it's 90. So there's a heat wave over there, there's a heat wave over here. That's what's making it historic. All over the world, the temperatures are rising, right? It's heat wave all over the world as compared to what it would normally be. That's crazy, right? But then that goes back into what I was about to say anyway. Because I told you I'm a minister, right? Which is great for me right now. I mentioned Almighty, right? Amen, Almighty, the Creator, which is what Amen means, right? Okay, all right. Oh, by the way, did you hear that now they've dropped hints that they want to remove Amen from the Lord's Prayer? Christians, want to remove Amen. Truth sometimes can be greater than fiction. They want to remove Amen because they say it's a pagan term. We're going to talk about that. Not now. We're going to talk about that some other day. But anyway, have you ever noticed that when I talk about religion, I say all this stuff is, all this come hand in hand, par and par, and I speak about it, and people say, no, don't talk about it. You're going to be bastardized. I say, yeah, well, it is what it's going to be, right? Que-sera, sera. Doris Day. Oh, my God, I love that song. Growing up as a kid, I love Doris Day song. So she goes. So I had a conversation with somebody, right? And I said, the earth is closer to the sun in the winter than the summer. When it's the summer, the earth is further away from the sun. And somebody was like, what? That don't make no sense. And I said, yeah, it do. Oh, I got to do a correction. I said that back in the days that long time ago, astrologists mapped out the distance of the earth and the sun to be like 93 million miles, and that is at like maybe 97, but it's not. No, I got to correct that. There's just two things called what? Perihelion and Aphelion, right? Right? Aphelion and Perihelion. Perihelion is when the sun is closest to the sun. That's in the wintertime, right? Aphelion is when the sun is further away. That's the summertime. Matter of fact, July. Now, the earth is actually further away from the sun right now, but yet it's warmer. This is what I was trying to tell you. I commented about the Ten Commandments. I brought up the Ten Commandments. I didn't comment, I spoke on them, right? I spoke on them. And I was telling you, when it got to the part with honor thy mother and father, I said, look, it's a little tricky here, because are you talking about your biological parents, or are you talking about the heavenly parent, right? Being the Son, being the Almighty, and the earth as mother, right? Remember? Y'all remember that, right? You know why? Because y'all didn't watch the last episode. But anyway, I don't hold that against you. Not a lot, anyway. What? You feel me? All right. Like I was saying, right? Think about that. I want you to think about that. When I tell you about Creator and the noise that could be going on all around us, that's a hint. That's it, because I can hear the sound coming from the next room. It's like, wow, they're really kicking it out. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Think about that. The earth is at 94 million miles at its furthest distance from the sun. That's the summer. At its closest distance, it's 91 million miles. So 3 million miles closer to the sun, right? But that's the winter. So can your head wrap around this? Because a lot of people want to try and minimize the greatness of the All-Father, of the Almighty, of the great Creator, of our men. They want to minimize it and say, oh yeah, no, this child right here is actually Jesus. It's God. No, buddy, hold on. You want to minimize gods. You want to try and wrap it into something that you can grasp onto, that the average person can grasp onto, some unrealistic point of view. Because once again, I give you, this is a prime example. The earth as the mother, the bearer of all children. This is what the Creator did. That whenever you get away, that the earth generates more heat. The earth generates more heat. Whoa! As you get closer, the earth generates, right, more coolness. Is that crazy? What does that tell you? That the earth in itself is a living being. It's called a celestial being. It's a celestial body in itself. Feel this. I want you to understand this. When people start talking about things like gods, angels, and try to separate the two, well, you know that angels are gods, right? Angels are gods. Thou shalt put no other God before thy God, the Lord God. That's the Father Almighty, supposed to be the Father Almighty, saying that there are other gods. Who are these other gods? These other gods are who? His children, the children of the Almighty, the Creator, created children. And no, they're not these handsome little images, man-made mantoids, humanoids with wings. No, 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 no. They are beings of immense power. Now they'll say I'm crazy, right? But crazy is thinking that all of this was created by a million humanoids. You know, there's some, I think there's some records or some where it's written that says that angels are as big as mountains. Wow. 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 I want you to think about that. Angels big as mountains. Are you aware that when you talk about a morning star, Lucifer, morning star, Michael, Gabriel, you know what you're talking about, right? You're talking about beings, creatures that are with unfathomable power, who's been around since the beginning. What does that mean? That means that the world was not created. Angels are not just 6,500 years ago, where if you look back and they say according to the history, if you go, Adam begot this person, begot that person, begot this person. If you look back, you will not see the history dating back more than 6,500 years, according to them, creationists. I want you to think about that. What you think about that? They're saying that the universe has been only around for 6,000 years, 6,500 years, or around there. That's stupid. That's absolutely stupid. And if you want to say to me, if you want to say the universe is only 1 billion years over, to me, that's ridiculous. If you want to say Earth and maybe our solar system, 1 billion years, yeah, okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that, but I'm not gonna, you can't get that the universe is only 1 billion years old. Now they're talking about it was it's 3 billion and 6 billion. And they continue to date the planet back further and further, the universe back further and further and further. So think about this. When I say that angels are gods, that's just what they are. They're gods. Just because people call them angels, well, that don't mean that they're not gods. Right? They're supreme beings. Stuck where? Where are these supreme beings? On the other side of those veils. You can believe that there's a heaven, there's the firmament and the earth, right? And there's hell, and there's purgatory. Let me ask you something. What's keeping them separate? What's keeping heaven? What's keeping our universe, earth? What's keeping our universe? What's keeping purgatory? And that's what's keeping hell separate. What's keeping them separate? Those veils, what's keeping them separate? Can't answer that question, can you? You can't answer it because you never had to answer it. For the same individuals that'll say, oh, listen to this guy. Well, listen to yourself. I ask you a simple question. What's keeping them separate? Okay, let me give you an idea of what's keeping them separate. You have these things called dimensional walls, right? Energy, that's keeping all of this separate. different dimensions that's still part of the greater universe. You can't have a universe. They call it multiverse. Well, if it's a multiverse, you can't have multiple universes. That defeats the term. Multiverses defeats the term of universe. You can't have multiple universes. Universe in itself means one, right? One. Not two, not billions or trillions, but one. So what makes this still a universe? What makes heaven still part of the universe? What makes hell still part of the universe? What makes us still part of this universe? Well, that's crazy, right? Is it? Yeah. Huh? Let's think about this. What separates heaven, the universe at large, purgatory, they throw in, I don't know where they get purgatory from, and hell? What separates it? You need to think about that. I told you I'm a minister. I don't subscribe to this stuff. Oh, don't say something to hurt their feelings, but they will cancel you in a second. They don't care about you. This is why I keep telling you, this thing against wokeness is because they've been generating it, promoting it for decades, for years, for centuries. Ignorance. You just gotta ask yourself. Do I want to be ignorant? Do I want to want like one of those sheep to be led to slaughter? Or do I want to wake up and acknowledge reality or the worlds, or that there might be possibly other realities than the one that you're being force-fed? The narrative that these narratives that they keep putting out. Again, I will tell you. I keep telling you, I'm a minister. That's what I am. If you got something that can substantiate your argument or your position and totally disregard mine, push mine aside, if you got that knowledge, I want to hear about it. But what you're saying when it comes to the Almighty, again, I said the Almighty, the great Creator, Amen. Again, Amen, as said, as stated by Jesus, does not mean so be it, whatever, sure, no. Name any religion where their holiest prayer is not finalized by giving acknowledgement to their God. They call it pagan. It's a pagan name, pagan term. Maybe we should just change amen, what Jesus, the Father of which Christianity is supposed to be based on, the prophet that Christianity is supposed to be based on. Yeah, I say supposed to be. Let's change that. And how do you still remain Christian if you change the Lord's Prayer in any fashion? Not translation of words, but the actual prayer. Because once you remove amen, then you have changed the whole prayer. And when you look into the things, and as you go on and you look into the things, you start look at things in reality and say, hold up, what's definition of God? Angels are definition. They call them angels. They are gods of immense power. Think about it. So, that being said, let's move on. But I'm not going to go over the questions. One of the big questions I'll go over later. Is Christianity pagan religion? Wow. Keith, did you just ask that question? I wanna define some. I don't want to define. Let's look up something. Let's look up something. I want to look this up. I gotta look this up. Farmers Insurance pulls out of Florida, affecting 100,000 homeowners. Wow. Judge overseeing Trump documents case agrees to push first pretrial conference. Whoa. Elizabeth Holmes' prison terms was just shortened to 2 years. I have no idea who Elizabeth Holmes is. I have no idea. Anyway, what was I saying? Let's look up a word. P-A-G-A-N. Pagan. Let's see what that means. No internet. Oh, I must have. I went to airplane mode. I had to take airplane mode off. I went to airplane mode so I didn't get any phone calls. What I should do is just turn my volume down. Okay, turn the volume down. Remove airplane mode. Let's see if I can get back. Oh, come on, calm down. Look. Bear with me for another few minutes. It's over. I don't guarantee you that I make this painless, but I do want to make it clear. All right. Who? Paganism. Wikipedia. Paganism is a term first used in the 4th century by early Christians for people in the Roman Empire who practiced polytheism or ethnic religions. Well, that's paganism. That's according to Wikipedia. All right, let's go into that. So of course they can't refer to angels as gods, right? So they call them angels. But what are angels? Again, gods. Okay. Let's get into pagan. What are pagans' origins? Should we look at that? Some modern forms of paganism have their roots in the 19th century. Wow. The British Order of Druids. Okay. All right. Let's just go for the pagan period. See if we just do pagan alone. Pagan. P-A-G-A-N. Pagan. Pagan. Okay. Pagan. The dictionary. I think it's dictionary.com. Now, a person holding religious beliefs other than those of the main or recognized religions. Other than the main or recognized religions, right? That's a pagan. Okay? The coming of the Germanic people, pagans. Okay. Let's keep it going. What it means to be pagan. Okay? The original pagans were followers of an ancient religion that worshiped several gods. Does that sound familiar? Today, pagan is used to describe someone who doesn't go to a synagogue, church, or mosque. It must be that they worship several gods at once, or they have interest in a god at all. So, have no interest. So you could be an atheist. They're considered atheists a pagan, right? Or someone who doesn't worship in a synagogue, a church, or mosque. Church of what nature? That makes... Okay, let's just go with this. Okay. When you look at it on the surface, what's a pagan? You remember I said they would refer to as Judaism as a satanic religion or mud religion or Islam as a mud religion, right? This is what people say. And I say, hold up. Jews only worship one God. They don't worship Jesus. They acknowledge Jesus, but they don't acknowledge him. I don't even think they acknowledge him as a prophet, right? I don't think Jews acknowledge him as a prophet, but they acknowledge that he exists, okay? And they just have at the synagogue, they just have not the podium, they got the place, the altar. That's it, just an altar, a plain altar. That's all they got, a plain altar, right? That's all they got. the books that they use, all that stuff is predicated or based on is the first 5 books of the Bible, right? Written by Moses, okay, or attributed to Moses. Muslims, they worship Allah. They acknowledge prophets, pretty much the same prophets that they acknowledge in Christianity, right? They acknowledge them. That's Islam, okay? But they only worship one God. They don't worship Jesus. They don't worship Moses. They worship only Allah, right? Only in Christianity that they worship Jesus. But Jesus said, don't worship him. The things that I do, I accomplish, and I'll elaborate on this later because this verse is actually in the Bible. The things I do and I accomplish, I can't do without my Father, so don't worship me. Revelation, same thing. So is Christianity a pagan religion? Think about that. They acknowledge angels, right? They put symbols of angels up there, pictures of angels and all these other things that none of the other religions and neither one of the other 2 religions do. You can't do it. You can't paint an image of Muhammad. They'll kill you. I mean, they will come after you. They will come after you. You can't bring other things into a synagogue, right? They're pretty much a good, they pretty much got this stuff down. Only in Christianity do you see these things happen. There may be some other religions that they call pagan, but they're doing the same thing. Worshiping angels, praying to dead people, to popes and pastors and whoever may have passed away. So that's a question that I want to bring up at some time. Is Christianity a pagan religion? Right? Because think about it. Base it on the 10 Commandments. Are they following the 10 Commandments? Why? Moses gave us the 10 Commandments. Jesus gave us the Lord's Prayer. Right? He said, listen, all you multitude, pray to, here. Don't pray to me. Our Father who art in heaven. Okay, we'll go over the prayer later. But yeah, is Christianity a pagan religion? Because I remember I told you, whenever these conservatives, now I bring it up all the time, whenever the conservatives want to demonize something, they cast a lot of the things that they are engaging on and they define them by that. They try to stick it to them, all right? They try to put it on them. And people say, why are you going to conserve? Because that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Y'all need to wake up, all right? That's what y'all need to do. Y'all need to wake up. And that's why I talk about, in my eyes, angels are not, you ain't gonna see an angel face to face. It ain't gonna happen. You might see an angel coming through that veil or an image of that energy. But, that's something to be discussed later, right? Anyway, like I said, I be Keith, and this be the B-roll. And this is where I should be having a scenario where I got to put in music or something. I told you this is a work in progress, right? I should have music going on to see how long I got to go. 3 minutes, and this is where the music come in. So do you think I should read a poem, sing a song, dance? That ain't gonna happen. I don't really dance. But I could sing, right? I could chat, talk about things coming up, and some of the things I would like to do, I would like to interview, have guests come on and interview them with things that's going on in the community, deal with the political states of our state, in our nation and some of the issues and why we have those issues. And people act like I only go after like people claim to be Republican, but they're not. They're really conservatives. They put their philosophy before the party. I go after those who call themselves liberals, libertarians, Democrats, conservatives. I go after everybody. You feel me? I go after everybody. There is nobody off the hook. Even I'm not off the hook, okay? I am not off the hook, all right? So I just want to say this, and I say that to say this, that as we keep going on, again, this is a work in progress. This is a work in progress. We're going to do things, multiple things, right? The TBCN, that's what we're about. The Tampa Bay Community Network, that's what it's about. It's about growth. It's about freedom of speech. It's about freedom of expression, all right? Not everything is free, and not everything can be expressed, right? A lot of people go overboard, and you can't, and you got to have some level of civility. That's why I can't have people calling in yet, because I got too much that I want to, let out. I called people stupid earlier. I did. Oxymorons. So I just want to be clear about that. As we continue to go, and I continue to feel your support, I am not going to promise that I will clean up stuff, but I will not try to go. I will try to stop from going overboard. You feel me? Right? But I'm not going to take second seat to these clowns out here calling themselves media and all that television personalities. Please, come on. I'm the real personality, all right? People rolling with me, we the real ones, okay? We the problems. They know we the problems. I know we the problems. Shouldn't have announced it, because now I put targets on everybody around me, because I know I've been a target all my life, right? So with that being said, I got a PA announcement. How long? Wrap it. Hold up here. That's it. I be Keith. This is BB Roll. See you next time. Wrapped? Okay, let me see if I can shut my thing down. I gotta go on my trusty laptop here. Are you aware that the thing closed down?